Big fantasy football news just dropped today. The Carolina Panthers are not letting us know which running back between Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle they're going to start and give the majority of the touches to going into this week. Today, we're going to do a battle video between the two running backs to see which running back you would rather have in fantasy football, which one you want to start, bench, or if you want to start both. Let us know who you're picking or what you're doing in the comments below to help everybody else and give us another gauge of the market here for the two players. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper on the waiver wire than anybody else on YouTube. We're doing player battles and deep dives so you know more about the player situation, the advanced analytics, and everything else. And then on top of that, we're helping you set your lineups by looking at every single game, every single matchup, and doing player rankings. Click that button. Stop missing out. Dave Canales have internally made the decision on who will start out running back and get the majority of the carries, but they ain't telling us. They ain't telling us. They ain't going to tell us who it is, so we're going to have to guess. Mainly, we're probably going to guess Rico because he's the hot hand, but we don't know for sure. Rico's the hot hand, though. He dropped 206 on Miami, 183 on Dallas, plus another 56 yards through the air. Scored touchdowns in each game. He has been hot. He has been the hot hand. He has been explosive. He has been efficient. He has been looking good on the field. Chuba has been the mainstay on this team for a bit. He's been looking good, but not to the levels of Rico, especially in fantasy production in general. 17 points in week 1, 18 in week 2. You're looking at yards per carry in every game, 3.5, 3.8, 4.2, 4.9. Still solid, still okay, getting work in the passing game. And you're looking at the prop bets from Underdog. And we've been speculating on Underdog all season long on a few things, especially with Ken Walker, with his total being really low in the fantasy points projections, trying to get you to bet the over on that when he scored 9 that week. And I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing them project Rico pretty much as the starter here with a 62.5 over-under on the rushing yards, a 36.5 over-under on Chuba's rushing yards. That's what I'm seeing here. Also, rush yards plus receiving yards, 79.5 versus 47.5. Now, your bets, you can place whatever you want with that. I'm not looking at that. I'm not here to analyze that. I'm analyzing which one you'd rather have. By proxy, Underdog is saying Rico is the guy you'd rather have here. By proxy. Because if they were expecting him to be lower, they would have that lower. Because if not, everybody would be slamming the lower. You get what I'm saying? So 62.5, do they know something? Because there have been bets before, and just speculating because I don't know. Do they know something that Rico's going to be the hot hand coming out? And also other sites, Rico's the man here. And they're not reacting on the news yet, but Underdog already posted that on their Twitter. Like they know something. They know something up. Maybe they don't. But that might be an indicator for you. And then on top of the coach speak, I wonder if he's going to go with the running back that comes alive.
You actually watched him and studied him, and what were your impressions?
It was in 2023 in Tampa, and Skip Peets, the running back coach in Tampa, he had Rico as a practice squad running back in Dallas. So when he worked with me in Tampa, he said, a guy we need to take a look at is Rico Dowdle. You love this kid. He's aggressive. He's smart. He's really into it. He's a little bit quiet, a little serious, but he loves the game, plays the game with passion, and just kind of knowing his history. We didn't end up acquiring him at the time, but Skip was right. He's all those things. He's an aggressive runner, and he's tough, and he cares, and he's focused, and all the things you love in a teammate and a player.
And has he earned the right to be the starting running back now?
We'll see.
Or other things he said coming up. Like, I don't like to paint myself in a box and say that a guy can't lose his job to injury. I think that's a dangerous spot to put yourself in when a person shows you what they can do.
Just looked like the same guy last week. Ran with violence, had a plan, a man on a mission, wants to make yards, and really just take our schemes and make them come alive. And, you know, he'd be up here. First thing he would say is give credit to the offensive line, the tight ends for blocking, the wide receivers involved in all that to create another successful day on the ground. But, you know, I'm sure he's human. I'm sure there's emotions for him coming from his former team and all that. So I will acknowledge that part of it. But I didn't see a difference from what he did last week. I just saw great execution and great attitude when he ran the ball.
You have great options there. It's hard to sit Dowdle. I think he's earned everything that he's done. Things are sounding good. He's earned the right to help this team.
It's a great question. We're going to figure that part out, but I know Rico is doing a great job, and he will be a part of what we're doing.
Chuba signed a 4-year contract extension. I think this is kind of noise here. I don't think they're really thinking about those numbers when they're looking at this depth chart. They're going to use him nonetheless. He's going to be part of this backfield for quite some time, whether he's the hot hand or not. I don't think this is going to be a huge outlier when it comes to the touches. I don't think they're just going to drop down Rico because of that. It could be 50-50. It could be closer 60-40. It could be a closer touch share because they have Chuba in high regards, and he got signed because he's held in high regards, and that could be what's happening here. But we can also say Rico has been more efficient. Yards created per touch, 3.22 versus 1.96. True yards per carry, 5.31 versus 4.08. He has been beating Chuba in efficiency right now, and you're seeing it on the chart. Why watch the games when you got it on the chart? That's a joke, of course. Rico's been busting it loose. He's been getting carries all over the place. He's able to pop those big gains, and he's also been getting more volume in these games because he's been able to handle more work. He's also getting better with every single touch. He is more of a feature back, more of a back that can handle the full workload and not needing anybody really to share it with. Chuba out there has had some solid performances. Nothing to the light of what Rico's been doing. You can kind of see that there on the charts. And then when you're looking at the efficiency metrics here from PFF, yards after contact per attempt, 3.9 versus 2.57. Just smoking them here. Yards per carry, 5.8 versus 4.1 on the season. 2 touchdowns to 0 on the ground. 11 carries of 10-plus yards versus just 2. Trevor Etienne actually has more than Chuba. Even though those matchups are different, still, Trevor Etienne is beating him in those regards. He's keeping up with this. Longest rush, 53. Chuba's is 14. Close on the targets, even though Chuba's been out there as the starter more games. You're looking at 15-yard runs. Rico has 5. Chuba has 0. Trevor has 1. More explosive. Getting more out of every single touch Rico is right now. First 4 games with Chuba as the starter here. 65% snap share, 12% target share, 52% share of the rushing attempts per Chuba. 29% versus 14% between Chuba and Rico when it comes to team opportunities. Now when you're looking at weeks 5 and 6, at 53% opportunity share for Rico because he just kept earning more touches. So the one thing you can definitely say over the last 2 weeks, that if you're the hot hands and you're rolling hot, you're going to keep getting touches, you're going to keep getting work. A 76% share of the carries. Again, he doesn't have a Chuba there to chip away, but a 76% share of the carries, a 19% target share as well. You're looking at the rushing yards. First 4 weeks of the season with Chuba as the starter, 217 yards, 4.1 yards per carry. And then you got Rico with 83 yards, 3 yards per carry. Now with Rico as the man, he gets stronger as he gets going here. 389 yards, 2 games, 53 rushing attempts. Same as Chuba there. Same as Chuba. 7.3 yards per carry. 1 touchdown. Trevor Etienne, 39 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. Like they just got more efficient. They're more explosive. Again, Dolphins, Cowboys, we're going to dig into that soon, but also the receiving totals here. Dowdle, 84 yards in those 2 games. Chuba, 94 yards. You're looking at the targets here, 17-9. Dowdle's just eating up more yards in space. He's just doing that. He is the hot hand right now. He's getting you more per touch right now. I get it, opposition, like you're probably saying that in the comments. But again, he is the hot hand. He is rolling hot right now. His blow-off top games, week 5 and 6, 32.4 and 33.9 PPR fantasy points. Now you're looking at Chuba's top games, 17.9, 18.7 PPR fantasy points. That is something to look at. Now you're looking at those matchups and you're saying, hey, it's different though. Miami's rolling over the running backs. We know this about the Cowboys as well. So we're looking at Chuba's games here against Jacksonville. Jacksonville can be stout, and they can also give you the fairway to running backs. Christian McCaffrey, he's Christian McCaffrey. But Kareem Hunt, 18.7, Chuba, 17.9. Those are the best performances. Holding down Cincy, holding down Houston, holding down Seattle. So with him scoring 17.9 against Jacksonville, that is a solid outing. And then against Arizona. Arizona is bending or breaking to everybody. And they bent to Chuba here. They bent to everybody else. Kamara, McCaffrey, Charbonnet, Pollard, and Jonathan Taylor. Now you're looking at Atlanta here. And they're stout. They're tough. They held it down. But Rico comes out ahead in this matchup, ahead of Chuba with 10.8 PPR fantasy points against Atlanta. 1 for 1 here. And then the next game here against New England. Chuba, 9.9 against New England, who will bend, but also be very reliant when it comes to allowing fantasy production. Like, they will not totally break. They only broke to Devin Achan, and when it comes to giving points to the fairway, it does not go that deep. 12 and 13 points. Warren, Genty, and Kamara. That being said, that's a stout defense. He has went up against stout competition versus against Miami and Dallas. Those are softer matchups. I get it. But also there's a thing about taking advantage of your opportunities that you need to pay attention to. Taking advantage of your opportunities and blowing it out of the water is something you need to do to get more opportunities. Like, if you don't do that, then that's not going to happen. That is what Rico Dowdle did in this moment. And he blew the doors off. He scored more against the Cowboys than anybody else this season. More than Josh Jacobs, Barkley, Scadaboo, Swift, Hall. He scored more against the Dolphins than anybody else this season. More than Taylor, Steve-O, Cook, Hall, Vital. He has blown up more than any other running back against those teams. And he's been playing violent and angry. He's been fully taking advantage of his opportunities. That is a big thing when you're looking at this. When you're looking at this matchup and you're trying to project what's going to happen, you're looking at the Jets. They have bent or broken to every single team but last week against the Denver Broncos. And that game was a shit show. Almost every fantasy relevant player in that matchup busted. And we hated it. That was a rough matchup. So you really can throw that out. They're bending and breaking to all running backs that have any type of movement in it. And you're looking at the over-unders here. We got 42.5. Really, can the Jets move the ball? And it's a very good matchup for them to do so, as the Panthers are around or worse than league average when it comes to allowing fantasy points to everything. Wide receiver, running backs, and quarterbacks. So we might catch some okay movement, even though there's some injuries on the Jets, like Garrett Wilson, that could impact them. All in all, this could be a matchup where these running backs get you to at least the fairway and do something for you, especially the lead back here. And the market's projecting tightly that the Panthers should win it, but it's so tight that you should not take that as a 1-for-1 or a guarantee, because it's 51 to 49%. It's up in the air. And considering what we've seen from these two teams, it should be up in the air because they're both very bipolar, especially with how they're acting in the media about these running backs. But when you're seeing this is an advantageous situation because we're seeing the Jets bend or break to every single team but one, and broke to James Cook and Javonte Williams. Devin Achan almost broke them. Jaylen Warren got you well into the fairway. So this is a decent matchup, not a great matchup, maybe more like a good matchup for these running backs. Bryce Young, if we come out here on the road throwing picks, then that's going to be a problem. They're going to play from behind. They're not going to use the running backs as much. catch-up mode in the passing game. That might lend more to Chuba if they decide to go that route. That could be a problem. Like in week 1 when they got behind because he started off throwing 2 picks. He starts getting hot, though, after he throws his first interception. Like, throwing interceptions is actually Bryce Young's superpower. So that's something to pay attention to. These running backs will probably start scoring fantasy points. I'm joking here, if you can tell by laughing, that once he throws his first pick, he's good to go. Who you got here? Who you got in this matchup? Because when I did my rankings video and I ranked the running backs, I had Rico Dowdle up there, and I said, hey, if Chuba's out there, I'm going to drop him, but not too far. I still have Rico as the starter. Rico's my guy. He's the hot hand right now. I think they're going to muddy the waters, though, a bit. I think it's going to be very hard to be confident in his backfield. I think they're going to split the backfield. I think it could be something like Seattle where it's 10 carries for one, 12 for the other, and you're not confident in what's going on. You want the one that scores the touchdown. You want the one that breaks the long gain. Rico's the hot hand, though. I'm rolling Rico right now. I ain't benching him. I'm going to roll him out in a lot of lineups. It's also very situational. I had him ranked pretty high off that video. I think I'm going like 10 back when it comes to the rankings, but he's still startable. RB1-ish, I'll say that. And it's because I don't know the touch distribution. And I also think Chuba Hubbard is a good speculation for flex, but a little bit risky. Needs to cross the goal line and rack up some catches. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.